Catastrophic earthquakes occur in South Carolina on a 500 to 550 year cycle, although since 1886 there have been at least 2,000 earthquakes in the area that have been so small they can only be sensed by sophisticated instruments.
The Great Earthquake of 1886 originated in the Middleton Place Somerville seismic zone and left the city of Charleston in ruins, registering between a 6.9 and a 7.3 on the Richter scale. This devastation recorded at least 124 people dead and 140 people seriously injured. Randolph Hall, built in 1829, suffered great damage that can still be seen today. Surveying the building, one can see earthquake bolts set in place to tighten and support the structure. There are visible cracks and discoloration on the building, and the window frames are crooked. Looking at Randolph Hall before the earthquake, one can tell the original columns and stairwells had to be replaced.
However, wood frame structures like the John Rivers Communication Museum only suffered minor damage, as the wood allowed for the building to move with the shaking rather than crumble to the ground as a rigid brick building would have done.
If an earthquake like the 1886 earthquake occurred again today in Charleston, about 20 of the 108 hospitals would be incapacitated, most in the Tri-County region, and about 800 bridges would be rendered unusable, cutting off islands residents from emergency services. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake would result in 900 fatalities, 8,000 serious injuries, and a total of 45,000 casualties.
The Powder Magazine, built in 1713, is the only public building remaining from the era of Lords Proprietors and was one of the most important buildings to protect during the time. Although the Powder Magazine still remains, parts of the original structure crumbled and there's apparent damage. Looking at the exterior, one may see cracks in the uneven structure as well as earthquake bolts.
St. Philip's Church and the graveyard directly across the street on Church Street were both affected by the earthquake, as the original church was completed just one day before the disaster struck. There is now a large brace visibly supporting the steeple. Many of the tombstones in the graveyard now lean to the side because the ground on which they were built underwent liquefaction, unable to support their full weight.
Infrastructures including the City Hospital, Roper Hospital, Medical College of South Carolina, fire stations, police stations, and the city jail were destroyed. Only 100 of 14,000 chimneys in Charleston escaped damage.
On this hazard map of the city of Charleston, you may notice the color-coded regions that correspond to the levels of danger associated with each area in the event of an earthquake. The yellow region is located on the most sturdy land that would be impacted the least. The orange represents areas of intermediate damage. Because of the loose sediments that hold up many valuable buildings in Charleston, if an earthquake occurred, liquefaction could damage these areas greatly, as indicated by the red region.
There are 3 things everyone should do. 1. Have and practice a family disaster plan. Follow the guidelines on hurricane checklists because the recommendations are essentially the same. 2. Strengthen and prepare your house and other structures for an earthquake. And 3. Buy earthquake insurance if is available. Your life depends on this.